Thanks again for stopping by. Today is part 3 of a 4-part series of all the gear that I like to take with me on my backpacking trips. So hopefully you can learn something from it and become more adventure dumb like me. Check it out. Hey, thanks again for watching my video. This is just a little disclaimer to remind you that I'm just some dumb guy on YouTube. So don't listen to or do anything that I say. So these are just my opinions, so you can take it or leave it. And with that being said, keep watching the show. All right, we are back. In this video, I'm gonna go over some of the gear that I take with me. This all relates to like safety, health, like first aid kind of stuff, water, hydration, that kind of thing. It's all in like the same house. Little dogs getting in your stuff. So stay tuned. I'm gonna go piece by piece and kind of go over each item and why I feel it's important to me and why I bring it on all my trips. All right, so one of the first things you wanna do when you're going on a backpacking trip is you wanna make sure that there is water on the trail. And if there's not, you need to bring water. I typically don't like to backpack with water. I like to go to places that have water, or follow a stream or a river, or that go to a lake. That way it doesn't add weight to your pack, which water is one of the heaviest things that you can carry if you're gonna go on like a long hike. You don't wanna carry this. It's easier to just scoop dirty water into like a filter like this. This is a smart water bottle. It has a little filter inside of here that will filter the dirty water, make it instantly, magically into clean water, and you can just drink out of this. Really, really handy. They have lighter ones of these now that this, instead of it being a hard plastic, it's like a soft plastic bag, so it's a lot lighter. Same kind of filtration in the inside of this, but an easy way to kind of not have to carry water if you are going to be near water sources during your hike. Instead of lugging it around in your back, just way easier to just scoop some cold water in it. A lot of the water too, like around where I backpack, it's ice cold. You know, it's a lot of from the melting snow. So you know, you don't have to worry about like, oh, it's going to be like really warm water. Usually, it's always like really cold water. So it's really, really good water. So highly, highly recommend getting something like this. And if you don't want to do this, another version of it is a Sawyer water filtration system. These are really, really popular. A lot of people bring these on the trail with them. They're super, super lightweight. They're pretty inexpensive. These can cycle through like, it's like 100,000 gallons or something like that. I don't know. I've done a ton of backpacking with this one specifically, and it still works great. It still filters water. You can back flush these as well. So meaning you put water through going the opposite direction. You should blow through it and it'll blast out any debris or anything like that, and just get the water to cycle through it. Another great thing about these Sawyer filtrations is that if you have these smart water bottles, they will fit right on top of it. So if you notice on the trail, a lot of people will have like smart water bottles like stuck in the sides of their bags. Whether they're full or empty, they're just really convenient because they're slim. They don't weigh much. You're not carrying a ton of water. These are only 1 liter, I believe. So it's not that heavy even if you do carry it. And convenience, you know, so you can just pull it out, drink some water, and then also if you don't have water in these and you're going to a place that does have water, or you're by a stream or something, this is basically like the lower budget version of this, right? So this filter that's in here, it's a bigger filter, but it's basically this. It's just a longer one, bigger one, but that's what this little guy is. So this is kind of like a little lightweight hack that a lot of people will do. They're super, super convenient. They pack away a lot easier than if you're trying to pack this. Usually I will hang this on the front of my pack with a lanyard, just so I have it right there and I can drink whenever I want. So that's a really good option too. But these are, not that expensive. And like I said, these water bottles, specifically the smart water bottles, will fit this Sawyer filtration system. There are other water bottles that have slightly smaller or different size diameter caps and will not fit this. So I actually, before filming this, I had two generic brand like Kirkland or something like that, and I assumed that they would fit. I'm glad that I tested it out before I went on the trail, because that would have sucked. I would have not had this convenience to put this on there, and it would have been a big problem. So make sure if you do use these water bottles that you pre-fit the Sawyer filtration before you go out on any crazy adventure, because you don't want to put yourself in a sticky situation. A lot of people also use these pump systems and all this jazz. There's just way too many moving parts for that stuff, I feel, and they are really bulky, so they don't really fit down into anything. This is super small, it's that big. It's tiny, little tiny guy. So that's something to keep in mind when you go to REI or you go to some sporting goods store. There's going to be a lot of options of ways to filter your water, but typically out of most of the stuff, the simplest thing is usually the best choice. Not all these really fancy and expensive things are not always better. They're just more expensive a lot of times. And then they can break too. What happens if the pump filter, you slip and it breaks, or you drop it and it cracks. Now you don't have a pump. Now you don't have a way to filter your water. Now you have to boil water, which is a whole process too. You don't want to do that. This, it's nothing. It's this little tiny thing. It drops. It's fine. It's there's no moving parts. It's a filter. That's its only job. That's it. So highly recommend the Sawyer filter. Water bottles, they're great. Drink water. Water keeps you hydrated. You don't want to not drink water, all right? You want to make sure that you're hydrated and fed before you go on any of these hikes, because they are a workout. They are it's kind of working out on an empty stomach, or I don't know, fasted workouts. I don't really believe in doing that. You want to have energy in your body to perform better. It's like driving your car on E, or almost out of gas. It's not going to perform that great. It's going to start sputtering out and stuff. You want to have fuel in the tank to do these things, because they're strenuous. They're going to be hard on your body. So don't neglect your body. Make sure that you have water and food in your body before you go on these trails. So another part with water is a bucket. Now you're going to be like, why do I need a bucket? Who cares about a bucket? Well, this bucket right here packs down pretty small, but it's actually a pretty large bucket. This is a 19-liter bucket. So 19 of these guys go in there, right? That's a ton of water. So the reason I bring a bucket, a collapsible bucket, is because when I get to camp, I don't want to have to walk 50 yards to the water source. So a convenient thing is to have a bucket, so then you can take your bucket, scoop up river water, lake water, whatever, and then you have something that you can either use one of these if it's empty, fill up the water, and then use your filter, and then you can drink that, and you don't have to worry about going down to the lake to do all that stuff. You also can use this for washing any clothes that you may have, doing any kind of washing yourself. You can heat up some water in a jet boil, add that to some water that's already in here. It's typically going to be really cold. Warm it up a little bit and just give yourself kind of a wash down. You can have this stuff at your camp, so you don't have to walk really far away. You kind of have everything at your home base, so it's more convenient that way. I brought this a lot of times on hikes with buddies, and this is one of the things that everyone's always really happy, that's so convenient. It just helps out so much, because after a long day of backpacking, you don't want to have to do anything. You're like gonna be super lazy. You're gonna just be like, oh, I just wanna lay down, I don't wanna do nothing. So this helps that. It just makes everything easier, more accessible, more convenient, and just makes the trip better, you know? Just makes you have more fun on the trip. So packs down to nothing. This is a Sea to Summit little folding bucket. I'm sure they have like a billion other brands that make them. That's just the one I got. Another little thing that I want to mention is this. Now this looks kind of stupid and you might be like, that's just like a dumb dirty rag. It is, but it's also really important because this is what's going to help you stay clean on the trail and sometimes cool. So like I was saying, a lot of times if you're by a water source, or even if you're not, it's a good idea, you know, you want to keep yourself hydrated and cool and, you know, monitor your body temperature. You don't want to overheat. So you can put water on, you know, this towel. This is like a microfiber, what's it called? What's this thing? Enduracool. You know, there's a million of these things too. I don't even know where I got this from. I probably got it free somewhere. But I'll use this a lot of times, you know, if it's a really hot hike or something like that, or, you know, put it over my head or around my neck to kind of cool myself down a little bit, or to wipe myself off if I have, you know, if at the end of the hike I want to take like, you know, a little shower or like a little bath with the bucket, you know. Wipe myself down. I want to just like be all funky and stuff out there. Like you will get funky and smelly. Keep yourself in good shape by washing yourself. Okay, first thing. Bug spray. Bring bug spray. Maybe bring 2 of these. Depending on where you're going, what time of year, mosquitoes and bugs and all that stuff are crazy out there. Like they are relentless, and that is not something that is fun to deal with, especially after you're done hiking. You're gonna be all sweaty too. Remember that? Like that's gonna attract, like mosquitoes are attracted to moisture and all that stuff. You don't want to have mosquitoes all over you all the time, or, you know, biting you and you having to slap them, and then you're gonna be itching yourself. And then that itching yourself can cause, you know, infection, or like, you know, you're gonna be not sleeping good, you're gonna be scratching yourself and be like, oh, backpacking sucks, I hate backpacking. It's like, no, you just have to be more prepared. If you have this stuff, yeah, you're gonna smell like bug spray. I don't care. I'll take this stuff, I will squirt my hats, my clothes, my tent, everything. I don't try to get this inside my tent. I don't try to like spray my like sleeping bag with it because I have the zipper on it and I keep it closed. So always be cautious of that too. When you're going in and out of your tent, zip it closed real quick, because it like 20 seconds you could have like 15, 20 mosquitoes in there, or bugs or whatever else. So you want to keep that contained. So you want to have something that has a really high level of DEET. DEET is what mosquitoes hate. So the higher the DEET, the better of a repellent it's going to be. This is 30% DEET. I found stuff that was like 80%. I'm sure it's like totally poison for your body. But when you're out there and you have mosquitoes that are bugging you, you won't care. You're just going to want to not have that problem. So definitely bring mosquito repellent. It is worth its weight in gold out there. So you can also use, I think there's like eucalyptus oil, and there's some like natural remedies and stuff like that. I actually did on one trip and it worked pretty well. But I'll always just bring one of these because I know it's tried and true. It's been on the market for years and years, so everybody uses it. So it works. So use bug spray. Yay, bug spray. Sunscreen. All right. You don't really need a whole bunch of this stuff if you're wearing long sleeves, long pants, lightweight long sleeve stuff, lightweight pants, stuff like that. That's what I typically will bring now. I have in the past I have brought you know, shorts and hiked in shorts, or hiked in short sleeve shirts. But I realized I brought like a regular size bottle of this stuff, and I almost went through a whole can, you know, in a few days, because, you know, you're spraying more parts of your body, so you're using up more of the product. So with wearing longer clothes, longer sleeve clothes, long pants, stuff like that, having more coverage, all you have to really do, just spray your face, you're good to go. And I try to just bring like a little one, and then it's less weight in your pack. It's, you know, it's packable. Uh-oh. Snickers is on the move. He's bumping into the camera. That's why it's like we're on a boat. But, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing down there? You do not want to get sunburnt on the trail in the middle of nowhere. It'll just suck. Especially having to put your backpack on. Say, you know, like, oh, I'm just gonna go swimming or something, you know, at some lake out there, and it's you know, it's not that bad out. It's not that like crazy hot or sunny, and you forget to put sunscreen on, and you end up getting burnt because, you know, the sun will still go through the clouds and it'll still get you, and you know, whatever. Just don't. Everybody's been sunburned. I've never met a person that was like, sunburned, being sunburned was awesome. That was so much fun. Oh, I can't wait to get sunburned again. No, it sucks. So try to prevent that as much as possible. By doing those things that I mentioned, wearing long sleeves, it's less likely that that'll happen, but bring some sunscreen, you know? Don't get sun on your buns. Next, we got some Campsuds. Keep yourself clean and hygienic on the trail. Campsuds. Campsuds is, you know, something that I like I said, I use a lot, and it's a really good product. You can find it pretty much at any REI store. I'm sure they sell it at a bunch of sporting goods stores or Walmart and all that kind of stuff. Not expensive, a little goes a long way. I use it to clean my dishes as well, my clothes, myself, pretty much anything. You know, it works for everything. And it is biodegradable, environmentally friendly, so you don't have to worry about, like, you know, causing harm to the environment. And you don't want to do that because that's the whole point of going out there and seeing all this beautiful stuff. But Campsuds, great little product. Use it. Next, I'll bring a little jar like this full of medicine. So usually like an ibuprofen, Tylenol, Advil, just like stuff like that. You know, stuff that, you know, if you have a headache, you can pop a pill. Or if you're having an allergic reaction, or like Claritin, bring some of that stuff, because you're going to be experiencing all sorts of different, you know, types of plants and brush and trees and grass and whatever that you may not have encountered before, and you don't know, you might have an allergic reaction to something that you didn't know about. So I try to just bring like a little thing full of, like, you know, maybe like 6 or 7 of each of those, just to kind of like cover my bases of anything that I might, you know, encounter on the trail that might irritate my skin or my sinuses or my eyes or anything like that. Snickers, what are you doing? You are rocking the boat, buddy. Where are you? Hey. So just bring a little vial, you know, nothing crazy. You know, you don't need to bring like a tourniquet and, you know, I gotta bring this full tourniquet and like professional med kit. It's gonna help you. There's no drugstore. So you're the drugstore. Bring your own little drugstore. Next, Band-Aids. So this is like a blister tape. You see that? Oh, it's kind of whited out. Snickers! What are you doing? Get over there! Hey! Snickers! You. Alright. As I was saying, Snickers, some Band-Aid tape. It's like a blister tape. This stuff's really important because even if you try to prevent it, you probably end up getting some blisters or some sores on your feet. You can even get blisters like on your hands from holding your trekking poles. That's happened to me before too. So this stuff has like a really strong adhesive, and it's even good for if you get little cuts and stuff. Just wrap it up. Blisters, it works great. You know, put it on, and you know it'll stay on for over a whole day, if not more. I've had it on for a couple days and it just stuck on there. Snickers. Snickers keeps walking over where the camera mount is mounted, and I have it on like a little elevated pillow thing, and so he just keeps walking over, and then it's just like, ooh, we just keep like going through this thing. So that's what that's about. So yeah, I always bring one of these. They're super duper lightweight. It doesn't feels like nothing. but it's really good to have just in case you do get some blisters or you do have some cuts. You know, it can help those things from getting infected, help your trip be a little bit more comfortable, and allow you to keep hiking, keep backpacking, and get to where you want to go. Your body's gonna like start wearing out in certain places, and this is a good little product to bring to kind of, you know, patch those little problems up. Snickers. Again, so that is the blister tape, Band-Aid tape. Get it, it's good. Next thing we're gonna talk about, pooping. Little dog poop bags, little booty wipes, all right? You wanna do your number 2 away from your campsite. You can get non-biodegradable, environmentally friendly ones. You still have to pack them out, so even if you poop in a hole and make a hole, you still gotta grab the paper or whatever that you use, because animals will just get in there and they'll eat it. They love poop. They don't care. They're crazy. Animals are absolutely nuts. Like my little guy is nuts. Typically you can do, if you're making like a hole to use to go to the bathroom, is you want to kind of find a place that has level ground, that has soft soil, because it'll be easier for you to dig. You can bring like a little trowel, like a little shovel if you want. I don't. Usually I just find like a stick or like a rock with a point or something and just dig one out. It doesn't, you know, if you find soil to do that, like a softer soil, it's not that hard to do. I believe it has to be no more than 4 inches across and 6 inches deep. And make sure when you're done doing your number 2, grab your little poop napkins here and put them in the doggy bag, and then put those in another Ziploc bag, and maybe in one more Ziploc bag if you don't want to be smelling any of that. And then you have to tie it to the outside of your bag. You don't want to put that stuff in your bag and then all of a sudden you got poop everywhere. And then you can hang that on the outside of your backpack. And then you have to carry that with you until you get to like a garbage can or like an actual campsite that has garbage cans or a place where you can dispose of it. If you don't, then you have to keep that stuff hanging on your backpack for the whole trip. After you're doing your number 2, you need to refill that hole. Fill it up with the dirt that you dug out, cover it all up, kind of like no trace left behind. You want to leave it as it was. The 3 P's, poop properly, people. All right, poop. If you want to be dripping in some Adventure Dumb apparel, go to adventuredumb.com and you can help support the channel by wearing my clothes. And if you don't like my clothes, maybe someone else you know might. So buy them something and help show your support by making other people wear my clothes. It's a win-win for everybody. Thanks again. Let's start with the big guy. All right, so you have a bear canister, right? In Sequoia National Park and in Yosemite, you're not allowed to use like a bear bag, which is basically like a bag that people will put food in, and then you throw like a rope over like a tree branch, and then you jimmy it up there or whatever. It's not legal to do in those parks. In other parks throughout the state, I think it's kind of like dependent on the park. You have to ask and see what is legal to use and what's not legal to use. But those are the places that I like to go because they're the most beautiful places in the world. They're the best. They are amazing. They are like the cream of the crop. I don't know why anyone would want to go and go hike in a desert or go hike in these like weird places or go hike on Everest and stuff like that. Like those places are just like way too nuts. And like I like to go where like things are fun and there's water and there's like animals and stuff like that. Not like dead people on mountains and like, yeah, I hiked the PCT, but it was like, 700 miles of desert and like, like cool. Like that doesn't sound fun to me. So I'm not interested in that. But places that I go, you gotta bring one of these, right? So what this is, it's a bear canister. It's made out of like a really tough plastic. I don't know, what does it say? It just says Bear Vault on it. I don't know. And it has a little recyclable sign. So yay, it's recyclable. So these are basically bear proof. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna stick all of your items that have any kind of smell. So any deodorant, toothpaste, food, sprays, lotions, soaps, any of that stuff. You're gonna stick it all on here. You're gonna put the lid on. It has little notches on here. Let's see if I can show you here. Right here. Watch. Boop, boop. Those two little notches. Now the lid is on there. So a bear can go up to this and try to bite it and claw it and do whatever he wants. It's not gonna get inside of it. So it's basically now it's like a bear toy, right? So where do you want your bear to play with your toy? I want him to play with this toy far away from me. So I will take this like 50 yards, 60 yards. I'll just go for a little walk, put it somewhere where there's like a landmark, like a weird shaped tree or like a rock or something like that. Stick it behind there. Try to keep it somewhat hidden because you don't want other people on the trail walking by or seeing it and maybe thinking that you forgot about it and then rummage through your stuff. So I will put this far away from my campsite so then if there is a bear or is a raccoon or is a mountain lion or anything that's trying to eat me or eat food, that it's away from me. So this is like a really, really important like safety tool. This is like more important than like a knife or anything because this is going to prevent you from even like getting that interaction with the animal up close is what you don't want, right? So typically you will put this in your backpack like sideways like this. It does kind of like, it's curved. So, your back is curved like this, right? It goes. So this will be like the heaviest thing in your pack as well. So you typically are gonna wanna put this in the middle of your backpack because you want the most weight to be in the center of your back, like right back here. What I do is I load this thing up with ramen noodles, trail mix, beef jerky, and instant mashed potatoes. Those are like my 4 like food groups, and then I also bring like instant coffee, like little instant coffee packets or hot chocolate packets. That's pretty much the only food that I ever bring backpacking. The reason why is there's a ton of variety within those 4 items. So you go to the grocery store, there's like a million different trail mixes that you can grab, right? So grab a couple of those and mix and match or mix them all together or whatever, or just have little separate things. So you have little flavor choices when you're on the trail. Also, trail mix is for the trail. Who knew, right? It's not just for like sitting on your couch and watching TV and watching Netflix and I'm eating trail mix, I'm being healthy. Like, no, that stuff is like really, really bad for you off the trail. On the trail, it's great because it's a high calorie dense food. It has tons and tons of calories for a little teeny tiny handful. It's like a little teeny tiny handful of that stuff can be like 300 calories, 400 calories. Some of the meals that I show you on this channel, huge meals. Turkey burgers, French toast, tons of yogurt and syrup and all this stuff. It's like having like 2 little baby handfuls of trail mix, so in this scenario, backpacking, you want things that are lighter, that aren't going to weigh you down, that are going to be high in calorie, and those kinds of foods, such as ramen noodles, instant mashed potatoes, trail mix, stuff like that. They're going to be lighter, and they're going to have more variety, and they're going to have a ton of calories. So that's why I like to bring those things. What I do is I'll take my ramen noodles, I'll take my instant mashed potatoes, and I'll take beef jerky, and I'll mix it all together and make kind of like a soup porridge, kind of thick, hearty like meal. And it's really, really good. It's nice at the end of the day. It's nice and hot, it's something that will just fill you up. It'll kind of put you to sleep. It'll knock you out. And it's really, really tasty too. So again, really high in calorie. It's gonna get your body full of calories and you're gonna burn those off. So you wanna have things that are like super high in calorie. When you're on the trail, you're gonna see a bunch of people eating like Snickers bars and candy and chips and peanut butter and almond butter and Nutella, and all of like the most high calorie foods are always on the trail because they're lighter weight and they're not caring about like, you're not sitting on the couch, you're being active, you're doing things. So by doing that, those things can help you actually. So that's the only time I would encourage you to eat any of that kind of crap. If you're not doing a backpacking trip and you're preparing for one, I would start watching the videos that I have on some of my low-calorie meals that are high in protein, low in calorie, but high in volume. Highly recommend those. Those will help you get fit and get in shape, so then when you are on the trail, you can eat junk food and crap and whatever else you want, and you're not going to be slowed down. You're not going to be affected by it. So bear canisters are really important. This is a smaller one. I also have a larger one. It's almost it's like twice the size of this. It will fit in my bag as well, but I have to put it in, standing up this way. So it's a little bit more difficult to pack, but it is doable. It just depends on where you are going and what you're doing. So bear canisters, yay! Don't get yourself killed by not using one and sleeping with your food in your tent. All right, next thing, kind of a safety item, sunglasses. Bring some sunglasses. These are really important, right? Just bring any kind of sunglasses, something with, you can bring like a polarized lens. I like to go fishing a lot when I'm on the trail, so having that will kind of reduce the glare off the lake so I can identify fish more, see fish, where fish are. So I like to bring that kind of sunglass. I also like to bring a hard case, so at the end of the night, when I'm done using my sunglasses, I don't accidentally roll over or crunch them or break them, and then I got just broken pair of sunglasses I got to take with me, on the rest of the trip. So kind of really important thing. Also, when you are hiking in snow, if you're only seeing snow and for hours and hours, you can get snow blind where everything just kind of gets whited out, and it's bad for your eyes. It can damage your eyes. It's kind of like looking at the sun, but the sun is like the ground. They also will keep branches and stuff. If you're hiking with somebody and they're in front of you and they are pushing through some brush, and then they let it go and it whaps you in the face. People lose eyes and stuff like that. Usually when you're hiking, you want to keep a distance between the person that's in front of you and the person and yourself behind them for that reason. Because if they're going through brush and shrubs and stuff, those branches can whack you in the face and you can end up losing an eye or break a nose or hurt yourself. So sunglasses can also just help prevent that too. This is eye protection. So it's eye protection from the sun and protection from branches and other stuff like that too. So very, very important. I always bring some sunglasses. All right, a hat. You may notice I'm wearing some new Adventure Dumb gear here. I got an Adventure Dumb hat, fresh out of the box. I got a shirt here. Got another little shirt. Ooh, hoo, hoo, look at that! Oh, so cool. But yeah, a hat. Hat's really important. Back to business here. So a hat's really important because it's gonna, again, keep the sun out of your eyes. I usually wear a lightweight hat, something that has mesh on it, so then it can kind of let my head breathe a little bit during the day. Say you forgot to put your sunscreen on. Well, then you just go, boom, throw your hat on. That'll help. It'll help protect a lot of your face, and keep the sun out of your eyes. You want to have good vision when you're out there. If you're constantly squinting and sun's in your eyes and all that stuff, you could hurt yourself. You could fall down a mountain. You don't want to do that. You could fall in a river, and all these things. So, having a hat, it's lightweight. Even when if it's colder out, or say I don't end up using it at night, just put it on the back of my pack, clip it on there, and or if it gets wet or if it's sweaty from the day before, it can hang it on there, let it dry, all that stuff. So just a really easy, simple tool. Everybody has a hat. Just get a hat, wear a hat. They're good hats. Buy an Adventure Dumb hat. They're the best hat. So a headlamp. This is one of the most important pieces that you will be bringing on any backpacking trip. You're gonna wanna see what is going on at night, if something's making a noise or if there's danger. A headlamp is gonna be able to show you what is going on out there. Or if you're in the middle of the night and you want to use, go to the bathroom, you got to do number 1, or maybe you got to do number 2. You got to dig a little trench hole and do your whole thing, and it's a big process. You want to do that at night, because you might be grabbing stuff that could hurt you, or you might be like right next to an animal that you didn't know, or there could be like a raccoon or like a little, you know, there could be a whole bunch of stuff. So you want to be careful of what you're doing at night and where you're walking. You know, you don't want to be stumbling over stuff that you can break an arm or break a leg or trip over stuff. There's tons of like branches and twigs and everything. You know, a lot of these places aren't, you know, they're not maintained. They're just like, you just set up camp like wherever. So this is going to be like worth its weight in gold. These things are really bright. This is a black diamond. I've had this for like, I don't know, like 7 years or something. It still works great. It's super durable. And then it has different like functions on it too, different brightness levels. But this thing is like so bright. Like I would be at lakes and you know, in the mountains, and they're not massive lakes, but they're fairly large lakes. And this could shine across the lake and enough to like see if there was a deer or a bear or a moose or an elk or whatever it is. And I'll use this to shine. Animals, their eyes light up. They like glow. Like you may notice in like dogs and stuff, and cats have that too. If they're like, you shine a light at them, their eyes like glow. So you can use that to identify animals or possible danger that you don't want to like, you know, get in close contact with by using a headlamp. Or if you're hiking at night, sometimes, you know, you didn't anticipate it was going to take you as long as it did. You're like, oh my God, like I can't believe we're still hiking. We have like 6 miles to go yet. We're like we're not 2 hours away from camp. The sun's going down. You start getting nervous. You like, you know, oh my God. You don't want to be in that situation. So with a headlamp, you're able to still see and still get to your destination, make sure you're on the trail, make sure you're not getting lost, that kind of stuff. This is going to really help you out with that and just keep you really safe. So also inside of your tent, if you're inside of your tent, this is a great thing to have. You know, oh, I need to organize, or I need to find something, or you know, whatever. Just pop this on your head, turn it on, and now you have, you know, visibility inside your tent, because all this stuff is going to be pitch black. I highly recommend getting a headlamp. It is probably one of the most important pieces that I bring on every trip. Little earplugs. I just bring these just in case. A lot of times sleeping pads are really noisy. Mine's really noisy. It's, you know, it's made of like a plasticky, lightweight material, and you, no matter what, you roll around in it and it creaks around and makes all this noise and stuff. So if you're going camping with other people, they probably have a similar, you know, noise pollution going on. So, you know, if you can't fall asleep, or, you know, say there's like a mosquito or some kind of like cricket or like noise, like some animal that's in mating season that you didn't know about, it's like all night long it's doing that. Some earplugs will help. You just pop those bad boys in and get some good rest, you know. Something easy, lightweight, doesn't take up like any room at all, and good little convenient thing to bring. This is a rain fly for your backpack. So backpacks typically aren't waterproof, they're water resistant, so even if it's raining, they can still get moisture and water in them, which can get your clothes wet, and then you basically just have wet clothes, and then your sleeping bag's wet. It basically like goes over. It's like a little sack. It's a little rain jacket for your backpack. What you do is you just stick this over your backpack. Like so. Boop. Yeah, it almost looks like a backpack when I hold it like that, right? I'll typically keep something like this on the top of my pack with my rain gear, because when it starts raining, you don't want to be like digging through your pack trying to get to your rain gear and stuff that will prevent your gear from getting wet. Lightweight, it doesn't weigh that much. It packs down into itself. It's got its own little, its stuff sack is like part of the whole package. You know, it's one little unit. Just another handy little tool that I like to bring with me to help prevent any you know, water damage to any of my gear or to my dry clothes, and to keep me having a good time on the trail, right? That's the whole point of all this stuff. Just kind of like keep you alive, keep you comfortable, and keep you having a good time. Next, a knife. So I bring a knife Not because like, I don't know, like I'm trying to like whittle or do something. I'll just bring this as like a last case scenario backup. I'll hang it on my lanyard on my front with my water. In case there's like, you know, say there's like a bear or something. I'm not gonna fight a bear, but in a like life or death situation, I would rather have a knife than not have a knife while I'm dying. Because, you know, it's literally like a last resort. You're not allowed to bring like bear spray with you on the trail. In Yosemite, in Kings Canyon, the sequoias and stuff like that. I believe you can bring it in other parks, but you just have to check what regulations. But I was told by a ranger that they banned it because people wouldn't take into account the wind direction, so they'd be spraying the, oh my God, it's a bear, no, and then push the, you know, spray the bear spray, would end up going in their face, and then they're like, oh my God, I'm blind, and now there's a bear, and then they die or whatever. And you are gonna encounter animals out in the mountains on the trails and stuff, but the more that you use these preventative items, the less likely they're gonna try to attack you and do things. So I just like to bring one just in case, you know, so at least my like last dying breath, I'll say like I went out trying to fight a bear with a knife while it's like eating my face off or something. I don't know. It's a knife. All right. Okay, a map. Maps are important. Hey, got a map. We got a map of the trail that I did. So you can pretty much go to, I would think like your local REI would have specific maps and trails that are really popular that you can buy like specific maps for, or probably go online and buy them. These are made of like, I don't know, it's like a thicker, like not a rubber, but like, I don't know, it's like a weird mat, the kind of water resistant kind of paper. A little bit more durable than like the old maps, I guess you would say. But these are good just to give you a way to kind of orientate yourself, find out, like get your bearings. These are topographical, so they'll give you, you know, these lines on here, all these little lines, you know, indicate elevation or like valleys, also lakes. So a lot of times I will use an app on my phone. I'll use an app on my phone. They have a lot of them, like All Trails I think is one. There's like Map Gia or something. There's like a ton of them, but basically they do like a breadcrumb thing. Even if you don't need like cell service, they just like track like little breadcrumbs basically on where you are. And so if you get lost, you can just like follow your own like trail back to your car or your camp or whatever it is. Having both is probably more recommended. I have never seen anybody use a compass like on the trail being like, all right, due north, head this way. Like nobody does that stuff. Like I think it's like I tried learning that once. It's like really hard to learn. At least it was for me because I'm dumb. You can always go to, you know, the ranger station. Sometimes they will have maps of more updated maps, but typically any map that you're going to get is going to be updated. But you just want to make sure, like, show this map to a park ranger before you go on your hike, especially if you're going on a long hike. Be like, hey man, does this look accurate? Does this look like the same thing? Does this river exist anymore? Like, is this drought dried up this lake? Like, what is here and what's not here? You know, things that you they may not have updated. You know, it depends on when or where you got your map, you know, who knows. I bring the map with my phone because they're backups for backups, right? Like, so say I lose this map and it gets torn up or it starts on fire. I don't know what happens. It blows away. Well, at least I have my phone now, and now I can use that as a map. Or say, same thing happens. I lose my phone and my phone breaks, and I have no phone on my map, or no map on my phone, and that's all gone. Well, now I have like a physical map that I can at least find the high points on the trail, find, you know, mountain ridges, find lakes to go to, find where I'm at, and kind of find things that I can orientate myself with to figure out where I'm at. But typically, like the main trails in California, they're some of the most visited places on earth, and a lot of the trails, even though they are remote, there are a lot of people that do those trails, all year long. So the trails are well beaten paths typically. There are parts of the trail that sometimes get overgrown, or they're covered with snow, or they haven't been traveled because it's maybe the season just kind of opened up and now people are just started, so it's not as well beaten because of the overgrown bushes and trees that have fallen and all that stuff. So there are some kind of navigational things that you do need to do, and just kind of keep your eye open, because sometimes they can, there'll be all of a sudden like, oh, the trail's going this way. Well, that's not a trail, that's like an animal trail, that's like a deer path, that it looks a lot like a human trail. Animals want the path of least resistance too. They're not like trying to do the hardest thing. They're trying like the easiest thing. They're trying to like save calories. They're not trying to like do P90X workouts and stuff and lose calories. They're trying to like reserve their calories, so the easier way around something or to do something, that's what people would do, and that's typically what animals will do too. They're going to try to go like the easiest route. So sometimes that can be a little confusing, but then again, you can always backtrack, and again, you have the items that you need in order to survive. So that's always in the back of my head. I'm like, man, even if I do get lost, I have everything that I need to keep me alive for many, many, many days. Like many, many days. So that's reassuring. Also, if there's, if I'm bringing my fishing gear with me and I know there's a river or lake by, I'm like, I have fresh water and I have fish I can catch. Also things that are kind of like backups to, safety and preserving my life and making sure that I will stay alive. Get a map. Maps are good, people. Paper maps, digital map, all sorts of maps. Just make sure you bring one. I typically put this in the top of my bag or in my side pouch, someplace where I know I can keep it dry and that it won't get ripped or torn. So you want to put this in a safe place too, all right? So that's another important thing. So keep your maps in a safe place and a dry place. And that way you won't get lost and you won't die on the trail, all right? Thanks again for watching this video. And if you're adventure dumb, I will see you on the next one. Woo!
Adventure Dome. Like and subscribe, baby.